Welcome to Talk to Me Like I'm an Idiot. I'm your host, Angie McMahon. On this show, I interview people about jobs and topics I know nothing about. You can find us on all your favorite social sites at idiottalkshow. You can also use that hashtag to keep up with the conversation. Don't forget to tell a friend. Now, let's start the show.
I don't want to be alone in this bed. Won't you give me something I can take apart? I don't want to listen to the yelling in my head or the crying in my idiot heart. Idiot heart.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I have a very old dear friend with me, Mr. Matt Engle. You said a very intriguing thing on the LinkedIn. Would you like to know about fishmongering?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I sell fish. Fish comes in. I sell seafood for a certain national grocery chain.
Really?
That I probably legally can't mention.
That's fine.
But,
We assume it's a place you buy groceries.
Yeah, at a national giant organic and natural food distribution place. So
Maybe it has the word food in the title.
it might.
Nice.
There's a chance.
What?
Yeah.
So you're like one of those guys in Seattle that like throw the fish to each other across the big pallet.
Kind of.
Really?
I don't throw the fish.
No.
I honestly don't trust anybody to catch any fish. They are really trusting with their salmons. I don't have that amount of trust in other people for catching.
How do you get into fishmongering?
That's a very good question because not that many people have a background in it. I needed a job and with health insurance, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I'm working for this company. I'm really digging it." Yabba yabba da. I'm like, "All right," I applied, and my wife's a pescatarian, so she's a vegetarian who eats seafood.
Okay.
And so I've learned how to cook fish. Just for like I do a lot of the cooking in the house, and she does the baking. So that's how we trade off.
Nice.
So I've learned how to cook seafood over the years. I'm like, you know what? I can cook seafood. Maybe I can get hired. And so I did. And I've sort of worked my way up, and now I'm running a team. And that's how I got involved and how I became a fishmonger.
So how does one interview to become a fishmonger?
You get interviewed
You're like I cook fish.
Yeah, you get interviewed like any other job, but it's mostly like, hey, tell us about like what's your favorite fish? What do you like to cook? What about that kind of stuff? And I would just talk about how I like to cook salmon and how I cook salmon, scallops, and all kinds of stuff.
And then and you just work, and then they were like, yeah, okay, you seem to have some fish knowledge.
Okay, he's not that big of an idiot. Okay, I think we can work with this guy, and. So yeah, and it's a lot. It's actually a lot of cleaning, a lot more cleaning than you expect to be a fishmonger.
Cleaning the fish or cleaning the area around the fish?
Area.
The area.
Mostly the area. You want because you're dealing with food. You want the food to be like the first part of customer service is really food safety. If you think about it. So you want the customer to be safe, and you want your product that you're selling them to be safe. So cleaning is just one of the things you don't realize, but you're doing it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're breaking down sections of our case every day, just to make sure that it's deep cleaned for the next day, making sure that everything's cleaned and sanitized, and all that fun stuff. My theory is you shouldn't smell my department. That's the thing.
Okay.
I
heard that very smelly fish means they're not very fresh.
That's correct.
Yeah.
There are some fish that do give off an aroma, I would say, even when they're fresh. Usually when it's cooked, like fresh cod and fresh mahi. Even when you break them down, they're fresh right off the fish. They can give off a smell when you cook them, but when they're just laying there in the case, they should not smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that the fishy smell is when it's turned. They're not good.
Yeah, the ammonia. Yeah, if it smells a little bit like ammonia, then don't get it.
Not good. So where do you get these fish? Hopefully not out of Lake Michigan, do you?
No, not actually. No, not at all. None of our fish comes from Lake Michigan. Um, we do get some from Lake Superior because it's bigger, it's deeper.
It's cleaner?
Yeah, we get whitefish, trout, stuff like that. But no, there is a vendor that a lot of the people in the Midwest deal with. So we all get our stuff from. There's a couple of different seafood vendors, and there's this one that actually holds up to our standards, and they agree to work with us, and we agree to work with them because they abide by our standards.
So how is this exchange happen? They come over and they're like, these are the fish today. And you look and you inspect and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How does it work? What happens?
What I usually know, like, there's usually a couple things that are on sale, so I know I have to bring those in, certain items. Also, I know there's certain items that are always going to sell and customers always want. A nice fatty Atlantic salmon, customers always want. I usually sell anywhere between 400 to 500 pounds a week of just Atlantic salmon. So what I have to do is I have a little order book, and I just fill out the order book and then go online to the computer and electronically send in what I want and cross fingers. I hopefully get it the next morning. And then I'm breaking down the load, and sometimes I'm filleting stuff, sometimes I'm staking out stuff. And,
So you're cutting stuff up right there.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. And then you're packaging it?
Sometimes we do package it for the people, and we put them in little ice bins, and sometimes we display it in a case in nice little rows for people to peruse and shop. Yeah. Do
you just have one store chain that you really work with?
Yeah, I've worked with overall I've worked at three stores, and then I've helped out at about three others, just like here and there whenever they need help. But yeah, so it's I start off at one store, and I'm worked my way up to being a buyer. So that's why I learned to how not to over purchase, stuff like that, and how to watch the movement of certain products. Okay. And yeah, it's like but it's just like buying for if you were working at, let's say, Best Buy. You want to make sure you have this many TVs move. I got to make sure I bring in this many TVs to sell. And
so there's an expiration date on what you're buying and selling.
Exactly. Except my stuff's perishable, so I have to bring in just enough to where it can last for 3 days and then get it out. Gotcha.
So okay. So how many times have you said, like, sleeping with the fishes?
I will say it today. I've never said it before, but I will say it today. That's
okay. Awesome.
I can't believe I've never said that. There's been like so many fish puns thrown at me, and I have said some myself, and I've never thought about using sleeping with the fishes.
What's the best fish pun you've ever used?
Oh my God. Let's see. Something. I think I'm gonna tuna you out. Was one of them. That pun was so bad, Skype just knocked us off.
Nope.
Get out.
No tuna pun for you. That's great. So what's like the weirdest thing about your job?
Honestly, one of the weirdest things is really talking Midwesterners off the ledge of overcooking seafood. Oh. Most of my job, a lot of my jobs, like besides cleaning, is sort of like seafood education. A lot of Midwesterners since not growing up near an ocean. I grew up on the East Coast. So about 3 to 4 hours away from the ocean, but like every summer we were always going down there and stuff. But also we're close enough to where fresh seafood was a viable option. But yeah, here a lot of people didn't grow up with that, so they don't trust seafood at all. And they have to eat it because their doctor told them to. And so they're very upset that they have to have this change of lifestyle. And so I'm like, okay, I'm like, how are you going to cook this item? And they're like, 450 degrees for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like,
sounds good. Like a steak.
Like, it's like, no, not like a steak. Usually you want to have it undercooked. You want to have an internal temperature of 135. You don't want to turn it into a briquette, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of my job is like, all right, let me talk you down. Let's think about this. There's other options of how to cook something than just crank up the heat and cook everything.
I assume in butter in a pan.
Oh, you could totally use butter in a pan. Butter's great. I love doing scallops and butter. Perfect. I grew up hating scallops. It's because my mom overcooked them.
It's chewy.
Yeah, they were gross. And it wasn't until I was an adult and I had them prepared properly where I was like, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. This is amazing.
How are you supposed to cook scallops?
Wonderful. 45, depending on, you can do it between like 90 seconds to 100 seconds aside at a high heat. Baste it with butter. You're done.
It takes like 2 minutes to cook a scallop?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, I've definitely not done that right then.
Yeah, you get a pan.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I would you want to crank up your pan to really a high heat. I use a grape seed oil because it has a high burn rate. It won't smoke up on you. Like
grape oil?
Grape seed, like from grapes.
Can you just use wine?
Yeah, well, not wine, but it's like the oil from grapes and the grape. It's called grape seed oil. It's from grape seeds, and it is every oil has a different burn rate. So, like olive oil, if you crank up the heat, the olive oil will start smoking.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you're cooking will taste like burnt olive oil.
Oh.
So whenever you're doing some seafood, you want to have something that you can crank the heat up, and it won't smoke up on you. So a grapeseed oil, even canola oil can sometimes go up pretty high. I think avocado oil is another one that can go up pretty high too. But some people have allergies to avocados, so I tend not to use that.
Really? How did you learn all this? You didn't go to cooking school or anything?
Not at all. I read. I would read a lot, but also like just learning stuff on the job.
Yeah.
And because like the more I would learn and pick up, the easier it would be to talk to people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and also I like to cook. It's one of those things I enjoy doing. So I would always just like read up new recipes, learn about this, learn about that, and it's amazing what important information I can't retain in my head, but then there's all this other stuff that I can keep in my brain for some reason. I'm like, okay.
Like random movie quotes and things like that.
Yeah. The Pythagorean theorem, I can't remember that at all. However, random movie quotes, yes, and
I forgot
and the smoke rate of oils.
Right. I forgot to start the show. I normally start the show with how do we know each other. I forgot to start there. How do we know each other?
We met years ago doing BS with the Free Associates.
Yes.
Then we worked together at the factory for Siskel Ebert Save Chicago.
That's right. Are you still at the factory?
I am still at the factory. I'm taking a little bit of it's kind of a hiatus. I haven't directed there in a while because about 3 years ago, my wife and I had a little girl.
Yay.
And named Josie, and that she takes up a lot of time. So, and also with my job that I have right now, it's really the schedule is really sporadic. So I don't really have a consistent. Okay, now I can work nights.
Is it really? It's all over the place with fish.
Yeah, like tonight I'm doing a closing shift, so I'm there from 3 till 10:30 or 11 o'clock tonight.
Gotcha.
Yesterday I opened, so I was there at 6 a.m. till about 2:30 or 3.
So it's like restaurant hours. It's kind of.
Yeah. Your restaurant, yeah, but if the restaurant was open from like 7 in the morning to 10 at night. So anyway, I still do some fight stuff with factory to keep my feet wet. But yeah, I miss directing. So hopefully I'll get back to that. So.
Yeah, I am taking a theater break. I'm going to be performing at the Steppenwolf with You're Being Ridiculous as a
Nice.
storytelling night. But other than that, I'm taking a break from theater.
Oh.
So I'm on break. I'm on a time out.
I've sort of been on a timeout as well, and it's just mostly job, family, job, and family.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get some writing done whenever I can. And
what are you working on? What are you trying to write?
I have a couple of play ideas that I'm working on, and one was actually not my idea; it was a friend of mine's idea, but he thought it was a great idea for a comic book. And but the idea was and we were just brainstorming, yes-anding each other, and I was like, no, I think you could do it could be a play. I think it could really be a play. And he was like, no. So we're going back and forth, and finally his wife was like, you're not gonna write this shit, so why don't you just let him write it? Oh. And so he was like, okay, you can try. So I've been working on this thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still I've got the characters developed now. I've got a little bit of an outline going. I just gotta really find time to hunker down.
Yeah.
And that's really like the hard part, I think, with a toddler, is finding time to be like, this is my time.
Right.
Because normally when it is finally my time, I'm like, I'm just so, you're so damn exhausted. You're like, I just want to sit here and do nothing, let alone type away.
5 glasses of wine and I want to go to bed.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Which I never understood. And you don't really understand until it's like, oh yeah, I'm done. It's 7:00. I'm done.
Right. I know.
That's sad.
No, it's not though. It's how it goes.
No, but like 7 o'clock, way too early to be done.
Yes, fair enough. The thought of doing a midnight show now is just like, oh no.
That's a young man's game. No, have at it.
No, thank you.
People like back when Abby Hoffman was going, they're like, oh yeah, we perform at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
Why do you do that to yourself? It's terrible.
It's like, but you could be sleeping though. That's the thing, guys. You could be sleeping in that. No. Okay.
You could sleep. It's amazing.
It's a great thing. No, that's a horrible idea.
So anything you've left out, like I think of whenever somebody says to me like fisherman or like anything with fish, I think of docks and like guys who wear little hats and like walk around like there's bodies everywhere, somewhere hidden, like Sopranos movie or something.
It's very much like The Sopranos.
No.
Yes. And that's what they don't want to tell you that. I actually don't deal with any of that, which is good because I am a horrible fisherman. I can't catch fish.
No,
everybody in my family is really good, except my dad and I. We completely.
What's the technique? You just throw the thing in and wait, right?
You would think. You'd think that any schmo could do this, but I remember every summer growing up and with my uncles, and I'd be sitting next to them, and they're pulling in fish after fish after fish, and I'm sitting there with my damn rod in my hand, watching everybody, grandma, uncles, cousins, pulling in fish, and I'm just sitting there.
So
with a stick in my hand, basically.
So there's a skill to it. That it's not just magic.
Either a skill or some type of pheromone, I think, that's in my hand that, like, once I touch the bait, it makes fish go. No, I'm not touching that.
Not that guy.
No, screw that. No.
Right on. Anything else you want to add to what it means to Fishmonger?
No, it's actually you get a lot of esoteric information. I mean, not everybody comes in with all this knowledge. It's something you kind of learn on the fly. You learn doing it, and there's like the company that I work with has a lot of good training programs, so you learn more, and it's encouraging to learn more. And but yeah, it's fun also to talk to customers. Love talking about what they do. And if they do feel more confident with how they're cooking it, and especially like they get to know you, like, hey, I tried that recipe. Oh my God, that was great. And then you can talk more. And there's definitely been some customers who, over the years, I've watched go from, I don't know what this is, to, oh, and so I'm going to poach it with this and blah, 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 blah. You're like, all right. It's really nice to see people just kind of get more confident with cooking,
Right
which
on.
is especially tricky with seafood since it's not everyone's norm.
So you're kind of like a fish butcher. Like you're behind the counter with the people.
Yeah.
You're in there with the people.
Like everyone has like their local butcher. I'm like your local fishmonger.
Okay.
So they come up. What came in today? I'm like, all right, we got this. Oh, what do I do with this? Well, you can do this. You can do this. Over here, you can do that. Yeah.
I feel like I shop at, I think, your fancy store. I shop at a different, not so fancy store. And I feel like nobody talks to our fish guy. I feel like he just stands there and he hopes people come up to him. Like he walks by and he's like, huh?
Yeah.
Shrimp today?
And that's another weird thing. Like I always, having grown up with like the local butcher or that's how I kind of see it. Like you should have a personal relationship with this person.
Yeah.
Because you're like your mailman. You should have a personal relationship with your mailman. Like, hey man, how you doing? Oh, that's for me. Oh, thank you. Very good. By the way, here's your little Christmas present.
Right.
And I feel like you should have that kind of relationship with your butcher. Like, oh, hey, it's so and so. All right, and same thing with your fishmonger. Get to know them, and also let them get to know you. Let them know what you like. And
I feel like people are going to come up to you and be like, hi, I want to know you.
Or people will be like, hi.
I'm going to be buying fish from you forever, so you need to know everything about me.
Here's my social security number. Here is this. It's like, oh no, this is way more than I want. Oh God.
Nope. I'll be coming over tonight. You'll be making my fish. Right on. Do you have any dumb questions for me?
Do I have any dumb questions for you?
Yeah.
No. Your show, when's it? The Steppenwolf. When's
Oh,
it go? What's the date?
June 22nd. It's a Friday at 8 o'clock. It's for Pride Month.
Okay.
It is, so I've done one other show with them. I did my first time ever at the Steppenwolf. You never think like, ever, I'm going to perform at the Steppenwolf? There's been like 1,000 people in the world that's performed at the Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be one of them? That's amazing. And so I did a story the first time, just random. The theme was love. And so I wrote about my friend, Judy Fabjans, that passed away, and how she was like my best friend, and that relationship, and what it was like to like basically sit next to her while she died in her last moments. So it was an amazing night of stories. So you never know what you're gonna. Well, I mean, it's the Steppenwolf, so quality's gonna be pretty good. But they say storytelling night or night of improv, and you're like, it could really go either way. Like, it could not really be awesome at all. But clearly, Jeremy Owens, who has fostered this relationship with the Steppenwolf, he curates a really great lineup. And the lineup was fantastic. All the stories were amazing. Some of them were funny, some of them were devastating. I mean, like, all over the place. Great stories. So he put out that he was doing a Pride show, and I was like, no way is this guy going to take me again. Like, second time with the Steppenwolf, and I'm in. I did it.
Nice.
So, I mean, like, because I haven't been since November. I sold my theater, and I'm actually in the process of finishing that sale still. And nice. I've been like, what am I going to do next? Like, am I going to get a job? Like normal people, like, you know? Yeah. And it's also super weird to like apply for jobs now, because like the last time I applied for jobs, you just would walk down the street of where you wanted to work. And you filled out paper and walked in.
You don't do that anymore.
No. And I can send off I've applied for 100, 150 jobs so far. Not gotten one call yet. Because your resume goes into a machine and they're looking for keywords.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those keywords, it doesn't even get to a human. And I'm finding out a lot of times people are posting jobs that don't even exist. But legally, they have to post the job. Like they already know who they're going to hire. It's already done. But they have to post it. I'm like, why? Why do you have to post it? That doesn't sound
So weird.
good at all. They're like, because if we like I met a few people and they were like, yeah, oh yeah. We already had who we were gonna hire for that, but we legally have to post it. I'm like, just to mess with people? Like now you're just emotionally messing with people. So I'm finding it very weird and interesting to try to find a job in just doing something I would like to do.
Yeah.
So I've been so I haven't been performing or writing or directing, or I'm still teaching at Second City once a week when they have a class for me, because their classes haven't been going well right now because their website's all screwed up. So there's been like a term on, a term off, a turn on, term off. So yeah, it's really trying to figure out what's next for me. So it's been nice, like every few months, to get this Steppenwolf gig.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
mean, like, yeah, I am worth this.
yeah. And it
Nice.
feels kind of like something to look forward to. It's kind of nice.
Good.
But yeah, no, other than that, I've been like doing some freelance writing. I did some writing for like different makeup companies, like Twitter feeds, where they think they want to be funny, but makeup companies don't want to be funny. They don't.
Yeah, they it's yeah, exactly what you're talking about. It's that I always call it LA funny, where it's and like if you would go to O'Connor and they're like, okay, well, this is how we want you to be. You're a complete asshole. However, you really have to be nice. I'm like, well, then am I an asshole? Like, what?
Right.
Like, wake up your mind. Which is because the writing here is an asshole. So there's really nothing likable about this guy. It's just they want to hedge all their bets against what they They like we don't want to be this, but we don't want to be this. We want to be this, but not this.
Right.
It's like, well, make up your mind. This is just come on. What? That was frustrating.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, I see what you want. You want, and it's always like the type of LA comedy that's not dark, as I would say comedy can
Yeah.
be. And there's like a realistic, and there's like a darkness to it. I love. And
I was sending something. I was back and forth. I guess I would say I did get one that was like back and forth for a bit with a what do you call it? AI intelligence, an artificial intelligence guy, where they thought that they were going to incorporate virtual reality into live theater and augmented reality into live theater. So like you'd be watching a show through your phone and there'd be like little Pokemon or whatever running around, which sounds like a terrible way to watch a show, like this the whole time, like a live show. But I got kind of far in the interview process, and his secretary or whatever says, can you send us some writing samples? And I said, do you want something that's kind of corporate? And she goes, send us something edgy. I was like, are you sure?
no.
I don't think you do want that.
I don't think you do.
So yeah,
my definition of edgy is not different than your definition of edgy.
Well, I sent her two things. I was like, here's a corporate sketch I wrote for Second City. It is a pizza commercial. And here's a sketch titled Hitler. Up to you. That's like, here you go. Let's see where this lands. So anyway, they ended up dissolving the project because they couldn't figure out how to like make it enjoyable to have people watch a show through a phone. Or like they couldn't figure out the technology or something. So they ended up just completely stopping the project.
It seems like such a small way to watch something. That like, how many people on the train do it? I'm like, what? Really? You can't wait 30 minutes to watch it? You have to watch it now? All right.
I can't imagine, like, you come in, you have to download their app, and they're like, what if there's an update? What if you have to change the privacy policy every time or something like that, you know? And then because I've seen this in the movie, they started doing this a little bit in the movies, like before a movie, where they'd have an augmented reality game you can play on your phone as like before the trailers. And I sat in the stupid theater trying to download the app because I was like, oh, if I'm going to work on this kind of stuff, I should know how this. I couldn't download the stupid app because there was no reception in the room. So I was like, and I was like trying to download the app, and I'm like, is there Wi-Fi? Is there someone I could talk to? And by the time I get the thing downloaded, the stupid game is done. I was like, this is terrible. Why does anyone want to do this? Yeah.
But do you have it downloaded for next time? Like, I'm ready.
Yes. But then the next time there was an update, and I was like, God damn it! Like I can't even. Yes, it was super frustrating, and I was gonna bring all these things up if I went further in this process with this company, but then now what they're doing is they're gonna have with this technology, I guess they're gonna have paintings in the hotel, because the guy who was like, he like owns like 10 hotels or something, he's like super rich. But what they're gonna do, I guess, with the technology is they're gonna have paintings in his hotels where you can download an app and then interact with the painting. Like the painting will pop out and like give you a high five. I don't know. Like I don't know what the painting's gonna do. But so they're gonna start there. They've given up the idea of like an interactive theater thing.
I'm still wrapping my head around like the interactive painting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to the Art Institute and like, oh look, it's American Gothic. What up, guys? Hey. Yeah,
And then they pop out and they're like, hold my ratchet thing.
I represent depression. You know, it's
like yes.
Okay, guy. It's like, oh, put the pitchfork away.
Right. Yeah. So I guess this is the start. And I did see there was one show in New York in 2015 that incorporated augmented reality, and it looked really cool, but it looked really expensive because it was them filming and recreating Wizard of Oz in front of everyone. But I mean, they would film a scene, and then they would go, okay, new camera angle, and you'd watch them like move the camera and move the lights. So it's like, that's kind of the boring part of movie making, like move the camera. But while they're doing this, you could like hold up your phone and see like flying monkeys or whatever in your phone. Kind of like, what is the game? Pokemon Go. You know,
Okay.
how you ever play Pokemon Go?
I did not play I'm familiar with it, but I did not play it. I'm kind of a curmudgeon when it came to, I'm like,
my kids
I'm not wasting my data on that.
My kids are way into Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Yeah.
Because I have a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Right.
So
I'm sure that once Josie gets about the age of 7, then I'll start having like some crap on my phone where I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, but it was like the idea was you could walk around your neighborhood with your phone, and then these little things would pop up, and you'd try to catch them with your phone. Like, so it was a show like that, but it was Wizard of Oz, so while they were filming scenes, and I don't understand totally why that part was interesting, like why that was interesting, of like watching them move cameras and stuff like that. Except that while they were doing that boring thing, you could like hold your phone up and like see stuff. Cool concept. I mean, like the set looked very cool. It looked like it took a lot of people to run the show, like as many people as it takes to film a movie. So it's like, this seems expensive. Like this would be an expensive show to put on.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it's not running anymore. But it looked very kind of cool.
Yeah.
But that's the only, augmented reality in theater that I've seen. And then this one job that didn't happen, which is now painting.
But still, I think it's so interesting. Like the leaps and bounds that have happened through tech,
Yeah.
just in a short amount of time.
And you wonder how it's going to affect theater, because if all of a sudden we're outsourcing our live experiences to a phone, like all of a sudden, like we don't even need actors. We had them film this one thing or not even film. We generated it with a computer, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's one of those things where it'll be fun to look what we can do, but I think it'll always come back to people really kind of missing the physical interaction of live theater, which for some reason there's a magic to that. There's a reason we congregate in a big room or even a small room and have to share this emotional experience together. Humans just have this need to do that. That's why there are churches. That's why there are stadiums for sports. These are all emotional connections.
Yeah, I've never heard it put like that. That's so smart. Like, that's why we gather in the church together to experience this together.
Oh, yeah. Church, sports, theater, it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's really the human need to gather with complete strangers and share an experience together. And I think in the future there will be moments where we'll be sharing experiences with tech. Yeah. But we also need that human on the other side to be a mirror for us.
Yeah.
It's whether people are communicating or sharing their experiences with a so-called higher being, or whether they are watching football and watch like the human dynamic being broken down right there, of a battle, or whether they're watching a play. It's something that humans need, which is fascinating. I always wonder, like, why do humans need that? Why do we have to? Not everybody shares that feeling. There are some people like, no, screw that. I don't want. I just want to sit at home.
I don't want to be around people. Yeah, no.
Right, but they say that I don't want to be around people. However, they will play video games where they're playing against other people and they're talking to other people on their headset. It's like, well, then you are doing it. You are sharing that need of having a human interaction, but you're playing a game at the same time.
I'll tell you what has completely saved my sanity while I've been trying to figure out what's next for me is being on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
I have a decent Twitter following, 2,500 people, and a pretty decent interaction. And I swear, I don't know what to do right now. I'll just jump on Twitter and be like, I need to write I'm just going to force myself to write some jokes, some stupid jokes. And I'll just slam out 10, whatever the dumbest thing is going on in my brain. And people interact with it. And I'm like, okay, good. This is, I do know what I'm doing a little bit.
It is really, it's interesting that way. How I've always been fascinated by the need for people to do that. And and I can be quite antisocial sometimes. I'm just like, I just don't want to I don't want to deal with people. But still, there's, I love going to movies. I love sharing that experience with a bunch of random people.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So
if you think about it, it's kind of a weird thing.
Do you also find yourself at all, now that we're getting a bit older, going to something like a movie or whatever, and if someone is ruining it for you, you just want to go after them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. I've always had that inner grumpy old man, so I've always, hey, stop that, but yeah, whether it be music or concerts, I'm like, what are you doing? Stop, no, come on, focus. Especially movies, where it's like, turn the damn phone off, come on, watch.
I would
Or-
never,
or-
like,
or-
in my 20s, I would have just been like, that person's terrible and thought it to myself. But I'm just like, hey, I paid for this.
yeah, at that point you realize it's like you're kind of like I don't want to when you're in your 20s you're like oh, okay I don't want to say anything but I'm going to judge them from afar.
Yes.
And now it's like screw it. Hey, you're being an idiot. Stop it. It's that for some reason there's that I don't care what they think about me. I'm not here to make friends. I'm in my 40s, so stop doing that. You're being an idiot publicly. I'm sure everyone else agrees with me. So that's yeah.
I'll become the mom of the movie theater. You're bothering everyone. Knock it off. I also like find myself on the playground with kids. There was like a little boy who just kept thwapping the girls as he was like running around and thwap them and then he'd thwap them. And at some point, like you can't touch another kid, but you give them that eye and you're like, you need to stop this or tell me where your adult is. And they think like, oh, she's going to kill me. Like she's going to murder me.
Yeah. No, I kept doing that with Josie one day, and I saw it, and I just finished who this was or sitter. I have no this person. I was just standing there watching it, and and my kid is just like, he's like, I don't like this, but I don't know how to verbalize it. Because you want to read it, So, look, that's it. And I was like, and I looked at Josie and went, Josie, you gotta learn. If little boys do this to you, you're totally allowed to kick them in the balls.
Oh my gosh, that is the best thing. My 7-year-old was so excited when I told her that. I was like,
And it's one of those things where it's like, this is probably not the best parent. And I said it loud enough to where the guardian could hear it. I'm like, look, boys do not have the right to this is your space. If they're violating your space, guess what? You're allowed to do whatever you want to get them out of your space. So if you want them, you want to kick them, this is the one time where you are totally allowed to do that because this is your space.
I said, yeah, so, my 7-year-old, at Christmas, she, one of my step siblings, who I don't even know very well, her little boy pinned her down and was kissing her and wouldn't get off her. And I was like, if that ever happens, you can kick them in the balls. She's like, oh, that was the best day. You kick them in the balls? In the balls? It's like, yes, you can. Yeah.
You are totally encouraged. Please do. And like that kind of like, well, here I am. Yes, if he's being a prick, you're allowed to be violent. And then that woman like just snapped out of whatever world he was in. It's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Like, get your shit together,
Well, and then I had to have that conversation with my step-sibling, who I don't know very well. I was like, you need to tell your kid, first of all, you don't pin people down. Second of all, when they say stop, I don't care. Like, you need to tell your kid when someone says stop doing what you're doing, he needs to stop. So yeah, that was a weird conversation to have too.
Yeah.
Because then she feels shamed that her kid did this, and it's like, well, they're kids. I get it. It's
Yeah. It's like, yeah, they're kids. But this is a good teaching opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the time. Now you have a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you become, and you have a good moment of where you teach them. That's what like my kids. Oh, don't do that. Okay, come here. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Don't see it as a parenting failure, but see it as an opportunity to actually become a better, have a better kid.
Yeah.
They're going to grow up a lot, and so am I, a lot. So it's just, and I'm just, making up for being an idiot for years, so it's like, come on, I'm trying to make it better. So.
Yeah. Anything else?
Talk about, I think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and our connection's getting weird too. Huh?
We've talked about everything from fish, technology, to be a curmudgeon, to kids. So I think we did the gamut.
We covered it. We covered the world. All right, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank Matt Engle for joining us today. If you want to leave something in the social comments, please do. We will definitely comment back. Share this on all your social sites and have a fantastic week. Thanks for listening to Talk to Me Like I'm an Idiot. You can find us on all your favorite social channels at Idiot Talk Show. Make sure you subscribe anywhere that you get podcasts. And make sure you tell a friend. We can't grow without your love. Make a comment and we will definitely comment back. Have an awesome week, everybody.
I don't wanna be alone in this bed. Won't you give me something I can take apart? I don't wanna listen to the yelling